This is FYI on your TV, brought to you by Hometown News. I'm Kathy Botham. I've got Heddy Sorour here with me. It's been a while.
It has been a while.
It has. Pre-COVID, I believe, was the last time you were here.
Oh, dear God, quite a while before COVID, yeah.
I think so, I think so.
Although COVID, of course.
Yeah, that's a blur. It's gone, yes. Still have to be careful, but yes, that part of it's over.
Back with a vengeance. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, it is right now too. We have to be careful.
Yeah,
yes.
we do.
Now you're a director in a play right now too. You've
I
got
am
hats
directing-
all over the place. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I took on a few things.
While getting hip surgery too, may I add? So a month ago?
No, 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago.
3 weeks today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And you're a director of a play.
Yeah.
And you were in another one-act play. We'll talk about that too. But let's talk about the play that you're directing right now called Jigsaws.
Yes, Jigsaws by Jennifer Rogers. So it's a play about, it's a family. It's about 5 women in one family. Now they do have husbands and children and whatnot, but we never actually meet any of their male counterparts. We only meet the women. And I think what I loved about it was the dialogue in this play is so very real. It's the kinds of things that we talk about as women in a family, and it's the same, it's the dynamics of, you know, these personalities, and the beautifully fleshed out personalities. They're not your two-dimensional characters that sort of don't have a background. These are real women with families, backgrounds, experiences. They talk about them, they hint at them. There's just so much depth to it. And I've got an incredible cast.
And you know, when I think of 5 women in their conversations, I mean,
It's
we need
hilarious.
each other. You know, as women, we need each other. You know?
We do, and yet we fight each other, and we compete with each other, and it brings all of that into it. It also deals with some issues. Now, it is set in the 80s, so some of the issues that are being dealt with in the play are going to seem a little bit dated in a way, but at the same time, I think they're very relevant today. So it does deal with gender issues and alternate relationships, but at the same time, it is done with such pathos. It's just a really well-written play.
And this means a lot to you too, because you know Jennifer.
Yes, it was a funny thing. So a few years ago, my husband and I had an Airbnb in Ottawa, and I got a booking from these 2 women in England, and they were doing a world tour, and one of their stops was Ottawa, Canada. So about a month before they were supposed to arrive, they contacted me and asked me if there was a way they could get from the airport to our apartment with public transportation. Now, we were on Bronson Avenue, so I thought this should be easy. So I got onto the OC Transpo website and tried to find a route. I couldn't find anything, so I phoned them. I got this lovely gentleman at OC Transpo, and he said, no, there's got to be a way. And he says, just give me a second. About 10 minutes later, he comes back on, he goes, I don't get it. He said, this is impossible. He said, you're on Bronson Avenue. He said, but there's no way I can get you there by public transportation without 3 changes. And one of them is a GO train, you have to change platforms. And I said, well, no, they're older. I don't think they're going to be able to get their, luggage across the platform. He said, well, look, when are they arriving? I'll pick them up. He was just such a sweet man.
Aww.
Anyway, I said, no, it's okay. And I ended up picking them up at the airport. So we got to know each other a little bit. I took them to the Airbnb. We chatted for a bit, as I showed them around. And then it just blossomed from there. Jennifer, it turned out, had been a former journalist who then went into communications.
Much like yourself.
And it was months, yeah, so it was actually months later, after they had gone back to England, we continued to correspond by email. And I said something about I was involved in a play, and she said, oh, are you into theater? And I'm going, kinda. And she said, well, I wrote a play that was performed professionally in Australia, which is where she was originally from. And I said, okay, can I read it? And she said, sure, I'm going to send you a copy. So she sent me a copy, and I just fell in love with it. So I asked, I presented it to TNIM. We had a play reading. Everybody loved it. The dialogue is stellar. It is hilarious in places. I mean, it's just hilarious just because the situations, the relationships between mothers and daughters and grandparents. It's beautifully done.
Excellent. Like when you say you've been in theater for a little while, oh my goodness, I think one of the earliest stories I covered You were in, I think it was in Merrickville. Well, I know it was in Merrickville. I don't know if it was called Theatre Night in Merrickville back then, too.
Yeah, we were Theatre Night in Merrickville. I think it was Waiting for the Parade.
That was like 25 years ago, I would think.
It was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, yeah. That was a long time ago. Yes, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
But that's where I first met you.
Yeah,
and you've been doing theatre. You've been doing journalism.
Well, I've been doing theatre since I was probably about 15 or 16, yeah.
Wow. Now, you were also in the one-act plays. So
yes, so a week, 10 days after I had the surgery, it just, it's one of those things. You wait. I had been waited for a year and a half for the surgery. So when they gave me a date, I couldn't say, no, I can't do it right then.
Yes.
And I thought, I'd sort of read up on hip surgery and all the rest of it. And they tell you that if you have the anterior hip surgery, which I had done here in Smiths Falls with Dr. Roberts, and it was beautifully done, smooth. But everybody said you should be weight bearing and walking within a week. So I said, okay, I can do this. Well, yeah.
You can, but it hurt.
But it hurts, yes. So I had to get up on stage on the Saturday. I was already committed to doing a play with the Studio Theatre Perth. We were taking Whistler's Mother, and I was Whistler's mother. We did the play. I marked the play. I'm not going to say it was a stellar performance. It certainly wasn't. I was confused by the cane. One of the things, we had rehearsed with the cane. We had 2 rehearsals with the cane and the costumes. But for some reason, nothing happened during rehearsal. It wasn't until the Saturday performance, I'm walking out on stage with the cane, and the cane gets caught in the skirt. The skirt wraps around it. And I'm going, oh. And now the only thing I can think about is the cane.
Yes. Not your lines or anything?
Luckily, we had already performed that a year ago. So,
yes.
And we had been rehearsing it. So my lines were solid. I knew that, and I knew you're going on automatic pilot now. Mm-hmm. All you have to do is make sure you get to the right place at the right time, deliver your lines so everybody else can deliver theirs. That's all I could think about. Just get through this. Just get through this, and keep the cane out. Keep the cane out. Do not let the cane come near the skirt.
Yes. Live in the moment, eh?
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
But we did get through it.
You got through it. Well, that's good. That's good. And now you're the director in the play for Theatre Night in Merrickville.
That's
right. The dates for them?
The 23rd is our opening night, 23rd of November, 24th, 25th, and the matinee's on the 26th, the Sunday.
Now, where do you perform?
We perform at the community center in Merrickville. We transform the community center into a theater.
Do you ever?
Yes. So we have risers for the audience, and the stage is sort of on the floor, but it's quite the elaborate set. In this case, it's a very elaborate set because we have to change the set almost completely from Act 1 to Act 2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And it is amazing what you do to the community center.
Yeah,
it's like you go in there and it's a big open room, but then, like you say, you've got the risers and the seats, you've got the stage.
We have the photographs, we have the past and the present. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Where do people get tickets?
Mostly it's tickets online. So you can go to merrickvilletheatre.org. For tickets, but also there is a phone number to call in the event that you can't get through online. You can call Helen at 902-990-0170.
Okay, so on
November 23rd.
Yeah, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th. What are you doing on the 27th?
Well, actually, we have to be out of the community center on the 26th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's one of the issues that we have as a theater group is that we can't get into the community center until the Sunday before we open, and we have to be out by the Sunday
you must
after
have
performance.
a well-oiled machine to be able to do all this.
We do, but it is we used to be able to get in on a Saturday, which made it a lot easier for us as a company to be able to put on a really good performance. Because right now what happens is we don't get in until the Sunday, which means we can't use the stage, or the actors can't get on stage until Monday. Tech rehearsal is on Tuesday. They get one dress rehearsal if they're lucky, and if everything goes well on Tuesday with tech.
Right.
And then we open on Thursday. It's a very, very tight schedule, and it's considering the amount of time and effort that goes into putting on a play, the number of months of rehearsal, the number of people that volunteer their time and talent to the play, it's
Wow, where do you rehearse?
We rehearse in the green room. So we do have a community center green room upstairs at the community center that we can rehearse in. It's a tight space, but we make it work. We're very lucky to have that, and we're very grateful to have that. It's part of our contract with the village. But yeah,
you only have a couple of days to transition from the green room to actual on stage. Wow.
Yeah, and that's hard. It's hard for the actors. It's tough to put on a really good performance when you really have so little time on stage. Most theater groups have their own theater that they can rehearse in from the get-go, and so there are no surprises for them.
Yes, that's right.
Whereas for our actors, there are lots of surprises.
Just another element, you know, people come and enjoy a play, but they don't know what it took to get you there.
No.
Yeah,
no. And it takes an army of people.
It does.
It really does.
It does, absolutely, absolutely. So once again, Jigsaws by Jennifer Rogers is going to be playing November 23rd, 24th, 25th, and 26th, and directed by our Heddy Sorour.
Yes, indeedy.
Yeah, very a picture of resilience. My goodness, 3 weeks ago today, you were having hip surgery, and here you are.
I can't believe it.
Yeah. I can. I've known you for a long time. That's a Heddy thing.
This is true.
Thanks for joining us, Heddy.
Thank you so much, Kathy.